Hello all. This is the second problem of Modern Physics J Advanced Revision series. Let's look into the problem. This is based on the chapter Atomic Structure. Right. Assume that the structure of hydrogen atom is governed by classical mechanics. An electron is circulating around a proton and it is radiating energy at the rate given by this particular formula. Okay, this is the rate of radiating energy, and where a is the radial acceleration, and you know what radial acceleration is. It is v squared over r, right? And yeah, assume the speed of the electron is v, which is quite less as compared to c is the speed of light in vacuum. This is so that we could neglect any relativistic effects. Okay, now the first thing we are supposed to find is the fractional change of kinetic energy, that is delta k over k. Okay, of the electron per revolution. Okay, every revolution it is losing energy, and we are supposed to calculate the change in kinetic energy, the fractional change in kinetic energy per revolution. Okay, now you're supposed to make suitable assumptions, right? Now, is the second part is the energy lost per revolution large, and is it safe to assume that the orbit is circular during a small time interval? Okay, now to sorry, right. So how do you start with this? Now let's look at the concepts involved. The concepts involved here. Concepts involved. Okay, now the spiraling of the electron into the nucleus, uh, you must have heard of that, or you must have read about it in Rutherford's model. It was a failure of Rutherford's model. He wasn't able to explain that if you use classical mechanics, the accelerating electron, because it's moving around in a circular path, since the electron is moving in a circular path, it is going to radiate energy, right? And if it's radiating energy, it is going to lose energy, and it's eventually going to spiral into the nucleus. Let's say this is the nucleus, and it has to spiral into the nucleus, like I've shown here, right? Like this one. So this is losing energy. Now, for a short while, we could assume that since it's moving in a curved path, we could use you could use Newton's second law, and we could write the equations of Newton's second law, because it is governed, as it said, that it is governed by classical mechanics. Okay, so let's see how it's done. All right, now, so let's say that, let's assume the particle is moving in a circular path, the electron is moving in a circular path, and the radius of the circular path is r. The radius is r, and let's say the velocity of the particle, is v. Velocity is v. This is the by particle I mean it's the electron. Okay, so this is the electron. Let's say its mass is m. It's moving with velocity v, and we have our proton at the center. Okay, this is the proton. The charge is plus e. All right. Now, since it is moving in a curved path, instantaneously you could say that at this instant there is going to be a radial acceleration. Okay, there is going to be a radial acceleration ar, and who is providing that air? That's the Coulombic force. Okay, so what's the Coulomb force? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught times plus e. So okay, you don't have to write the plus e. E into E, which is E squared over R squared. This is the force which is equal to mass of the electron times radial acceleration, and you know what radial acceleration is, it is V square over R, right? So we get from here mv squared is equal to E squared over 4 pi epsilon naught R. Now you could just see, if you just multiply 1 by 2 on both the sides, you'll get kinetic energy. That is kinetic energy. Momentarily, the kinetic energy of this particular electron is half mv squared, and it's going to be equal to E squared by 8 pi epsilon naught R, right? Now, this is the kinetic energy. Now, what about the total energy of the electron? Now, it's said that the electron is losing energy at a constant rate. Sorry, not a constant rate. It's losing energy at a particular rate. Now, let's say the total energy. The total energy would be the sum of the potential energy and the kinetic energy. Okay. So, what is the potential energy? It is going to be minus K, or I'll just write 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught into plus E into minus E by R. This is the electrostatic potential energy plus the kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is this, which is E squared by 8 pi epsilon naught R. All right. And this comes out to be equal to minus E squared by 8 pi epsilon naught R, which is equal to minus K. So here's an important relation, that total energy is negative of kinetic energy, right? Now the electron is losing energy, that is energy is lost, that implies kinetic energy is being gained. Okay, you might ask, how is the kinetic energy increasing? I could give you another way of looking into it, is that the force acting on the electron is a central force. So the torque about the proton would be 0, and since the torque is 0, the angular momentum would be conserved. So mvr is conserved. Since it is spiraling inwards, r is decreasing, so velocity has to increase, or the speed has to increase. So if the speed is increasing, what can you say? That the kinetic energy is increasing. Okay, so the kinetic energy is definitely increasing in this case. All right. So this is one of the important concepts that are involved here. And then about one more important concept that you need to understand is the change in a function. Let's say this is a mathematical concept that you must have learned in class 11, is that if you have a function y equals f of x, okay, and you're supposed to calculate delta y for small change in x, that is delta x. What do? Delta y can be written as dy by dx times delta x. You could use this. Okay, where am I going to use this? I could use it here because it's given to me. De by dt is given to me. Okay, so I need to find, see, if E is equal to minus k, I could say that de by dt is equal to minus of dk by dt. Okay, I could use this, and I'm supposed to calculate the energy lost, or the change in kinetic energy in one revolution. Okay, so here delta x in this case is time, delta t. All right, so let's look into it. All right, now let's dive into the problem. What was the problem given? The problem given is that you're supposed to calculate the fractional change of kinetic energy. All right, now okay, so we just established that E is equal to minus k. All right, minus k. So that basically implies that you're supposed to calculate delta K over K. Okay, so delta K over K is going to be, okay, you need delta K. So what would be delta K? Delta K is going to be delta E. All right. Now, you've been given the value of dE by dt. All right. You've been given the value of dE by dt. What's the value of dE by dt? The value of dE by dt is given to you. Let's look at that. Okay, the rate of loss of energy is given by E squared A squared by 6 pi C cube into epsilon naught. Now, since this is loss energy, I'm going to write a negative sign over it. Okay. So, now what is minus delta E? Minus delta E can be written as dE by dt, dE by dt times delta T, right? Now, what is delta T? So, what is delta T? Delta T is simply the time period, because the question is asked for one energy lost per revolution. Okay, so I could write it like this: negative of dA by dt, negative of dE by dt times the time period of revolution. Okay, so if I talk about the time period of revolution, what exactly would that be? So you know that for a small, for one revolution, if the velocity is v and the radius is r, the time period is going to be 2 pi r over v, right? So let's plug in that value, both the values. So what I get is delta k is equal to, delta k is equal to, both the negative signs cancel out. It is E squared A squared by 6 pi c cube epsilon naught times 2 pi r by v. All right. Now, what's the acceleration? Acceleration is v square over r. Okay. The acceleration given is v squared over r. So you can plug in that as well. So let's put that value. So you could see that the pi gets cancelled. Pi, sorry, both the pi and pi gets cancelled. Is there anything that's getting cancelled? Yeah, 2, and here we'll have a 3. Okay, so we'll have e squared. We'll write all the constants together. So e squared by 3 c cube epsilon naught into, what is a squared? A square is going to be v raised to 4, v raised to 4 by r squared. Okay, v raised to 4 by r square multiplied by r by v, right? So what do you have? Delta k. Delta k is equal to e squared by 3 c cube epsilon naught into v cube by r. All right. Now, what are you supposed to calculate? You're supposed to calculate delta k over k. So you're supposed to calculate delta k over k. Now, what is delta k? You just found out delta k. And what is k? Kinetic energy. We just established that kinetic energy was equal to E squared by 8 pi epsilon naught r. All right. So we'll just plug in that values as well. So this is going to be E squared v cube by 3 c cube epsilon naught r multiplied by, that is divided by k. So it's going to be, in the denominator it's going to be e squared, and the numerator it's going to be 8 pi epsilon naught r. Okay, so from here you could clearly see that the r gets cancelled. What else is getting cancelled? E squared, okay, and epsilon naught, right? So from here, the delta k, the fractional change in kinetic energy, delta k over k is equal to 8 pi by 3 into, see how I'm going to write it. It is v over c the whole cube. Okay, V over C the whole cube, right? So that's the fractional. This is what we are supposed to find, the fractional change in kinetic energy. And now it's been given to us that V is very small as compared to C. So what you can say is that delta K by K, you can say that implies delta K by K is going to be negligible. Okay, delta K by K is going to be negligible. As you can see here, V over C would be a very small. See, if V is very small as compared to, so V is very small as compared to C, and V over C would be very small as compared to 1. So this is a very small value, V over C the whole cube. Okay, so delta K by K is going to be negligible. Since the rate of the change in kinetic energy, fractional change in kinetic energy is going to be negligible, you could also say that the fractional change of energy is going to be negligible. So, or you could just say that the change in the loss in energy is going to be very small. So that answers the second part of the problem, second part of the question. What exactly is that? The second part of the question was, is the energy lost per revolution large? So we just established that it isn't. The energy lost is very small. So it is safe to assume that the orbit is circular. Okay. So that was the second problem of modern physics JEE Advanced revision series. Okay. See you soon with another good problem.